In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the radiator on this Volkswagen GTI. Let's get into it. We're going to remove this panel. There's some screws all along here. You want to use a T25 socket. Take these out. There should be others there. And then do the same on the other side. All those out, just grab the panel, slide it towards the back of the vehicle, and it comes right down. Disconnect the electrical connector right here. There's a little lock tab. I'm just going to use a pick, push that up, and you can push down on the tab. Slide that out. You might have to get the pick underneath there. There we go. Just slides out. Just got under the lock. The lower screws right here, we're going to take those and loosen those up. I'm going to use a T25 socket. We're not going to take it out completely, but we just want it finger tight just to hold the fan in. And we'll do the same on the other side. And now we're loosening this one up. And it's just a couple threads on, so that's loose. We're going to disconnect the connector for the mass airflow sensor. Just push down on the tab, slide that off out of the way. Loosen up this worm clamp right here. There's a 7mm socket I'm going to use. Slide that back. It should be able to separate right here. This may look a little different than what you have. There should be an air box right here, but the procedure is going to be very similar. Right down here, take this bolt out. I'm going to use a 10mm socket. Pull that out. And if you have the factory air box, you're going to have a couple of holes down here and some screws. You're going to have to take those screws out. You should be able to use a T20 socket to get those out. Grab the air box and just slide it out of the way. And use the T25 socket, take this screw out. Top. And that's going to be loose. And the same on the other side. And take that screw out, and this fan will be loose. And we can loosen up the bolts by hand. Take those out, take the screws out. Just hold the fan shroud while you're doing that. That's good. And just slide it right down. Now we're going to drain the coolant system. This vehicle does not have a drain in the radiator, so we're going to take off the lower radiator hose. You're going to use a pick and slide this clip up. After you slide that up, then you can grab the hose and just slide it back. Make sure you have a drain bucket underneath to catch all the coolant. We're going to remove the upper radiator hose, use a pick, and just like the lower one, you're going to slide up on the clip. That releases the lock, and then you can slide the hose back. Pull that back, pull it off, and out of the way. There's 2 screws on each side of the radiator. We're going to take those out. Use a T25 socket just to get the screws out. Pull those screws out. I'll take the lower bolt out first. Same T25 socket. And there's the screw. Take the upper one out. I'll grab the radiator and just carefully slide it up and out of the way. Take the new radiator, and just slide it in position. And we'll get the top two screws started. Line those up. That's good. That's started. Start the other side. And get that screw started. Keep those loose though, so then we can get the bottom two started. And we'll access the bottom bolt from underneath. Get that started. There we go. And before we tighten that down, do the other side. Once you get that started, you can tighten that down. And we'll go tighten the other ones down. And just snug it down. That's good. Tighten the other lower one down. And that's snug. And tighten the top ones down. Snug that down. And snug that one down. Now we're going to push this lock back down on the pipe, slide that in place, latch it down. We're going to lock that down, push that lock all the way down, and attach it to the radiator, just like that. Fan assembly, and just slide it in place. Slide it up. There it goes. And take the screws, get those started. There we go. And get the other screws in place. At least those are started. Then you want to get the top ones in just to make sure everything lines up before you tighten those down. And put the top bolts in. Get that started. If you have to, move the fan around a little bit. That's good. And the other bolt on the other side. With those in, now we can tighten these down. Snug that down. And snug this one down. Tighten the lower bolts. Nice and snug. That's good. That's snug. Take the connector. And lock it in place. and push down on the lock. That's good. And slide the shield in place. That's good. Take the bolts. Get these all started. We'll tighten those down. And slide the air box back in place. Get that lined up. Line the snorkel up. Get the bolts started behind the airbox. Snug those down. Snug that down. And the screw that goes back here, you want to put those in place and tighten those down. Snug that down. That's good. Tighten the clamp down. Snug that down. Take the connector, line that up, lock it down. Now we're going to add the coolant. Take the cap off. You can use a funnel using the appropriate type of coolant. I'm going to fill it up. All right, when it's full, take the funnel out. You can start the vehicle, run the vehicle for about 15 to 20 minutes, monitoring the engine, making sure it's not overheating. After it has completely warmed up to operating temperature, shut the vehicle down, let it cool down, and then adjust your coolant level accordingly.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.